A pandemic doesn't follow a method. It all depends on the virus's madness. And this has been our experience with COVID-19 as it enters its third year. This time in 2020, the Delta variant arrived. It was first detected in India, after which it spread across the world to become the most dominant strain. The year before that was all about a mysterious pneumonia in Wuhan. The virus was yet to be christened as SARS-CoV-2. And as we enter 2022, we are faced with Omicron. But 2021 will be remembered for two reasons. One, because of the deadliest variant of COVID-19 that we know of till now, the Delta variant. And two, because of the way medical sciences, through its vaccines and therapeutics, has fought the virus. Delta unleashed a tragedy of unprecedented proportion, a once-in-a-generation crisis. The virus was identified in India in December 2020 and was termed a variant of concern on May 11th. By then, it was already present in 40 countries and was spreading to an average of 6 to 9 countries every week. Those who survived the few months between April and July will never forget the tragedy that unfurled across India. The healthcare system of the country crashed. No hospital beds, acute shortage of oxygen supply, even funeral grounds ran out of space. Over 120,000 people died in May 2021 alone. The worst month of India's second wave also saw over 9 million new cases. Till December 2021, India's total COVID-19 caseload was at around 35 million cases. But close to 25 million cases were added this year alone, an overwhelming majority of them were caused by Delta. Similarly, across the world, the Delta variant, which is about 50% more transmissible than the original Wuhan strain, upstaged other variants. By October 2021, over 190 countries have detected its presence. Now, at the other end of this tragic spectrum was the hope for the return of sanity. And that was provided by medical sciences in the form of vaccines and therapeutics. 2020 saw a race to produce the first vaccine against COVID-19. By late 2021, many countries began giving emergency use authorization for these vaccines to inoculate their citizens. The United Kingdom, Germany, Russia, and the United States were among these countries. 4 vaccines were primarily used when the vaccination drive began. India started its vaccination in January 2021, using a locally produced version of AstraZeneca's vaccine called Covishield. The other option was Covaxin, developed by the Indian Council of Medical Research along with a private company called Bharat Biotech International Limited. But the vaccination drive in India was not without hiccups. India opened up its vaccination in 3 phases. It began early this year by vaccinating frontline COVID-19 health workers. In March 2021, it opened up the vaccination for the elderly, and in May, for all citizens above 18 years of age. India had set its target to vaccinate adult population by December 2021. But huge shortages were seen during the first few months after vaccination was opened to all adults. The inoculation was slow. Until the end of August, only about 35% of the population had received the first dose, while less than 10% were fully vaccinated. Now, since September, the vaccine distribution has increased. By the third week of December, over 83% of the adult population has received the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, while about 56% has been fully vaccinated. Now, if vaccination gave hope for a return to normalcy, vaccine inequity left a majority of the African population hopeless. Currently, about 47% of the global population has now received both doses of the vaccine. Australia has fully vaccinated 76% of its population. South America has done 62%. Europe, on the other hand, has done about 60%. North America has done 56%, while Asia has done about 54%. But when it comes to Africa, only about 8% of its entire population has been fully vaccinated. Now, the WHO, along with the Gavi Alliance, has started the COVAX facility to provide 2 billion free vaccine doses to the poorest countries around the world. So far, around 10 billion vaccine doses have been supplied around the world, but most of these have been to rich countries. Only about 700 million doses have been supplied to the COVAX facility till the second week of December. The United States, Germany, France, and Australia have failed to donate even half of the doses they pledged. African nations continue to suffer. Some have even argued that Omicron is a result of vaccine apartheid. Now that brings us to Omicron, a virus very different in morphology from the previous virus and its mutations. It has about 50 mutations overall, with 32 mutations on the spike protein that helps the virus gain entry by adhering to the cells. It is also the protein that all 3 vaccines currently available in the US use to induce protective antibodies. It spreads at a much faster rate. It has already been detected in 76 countries just a month after its detection. South Africa, where its variant was first isolated on November 24th, has seen its cases peak and decline. But the United Kingdom and the United States are seeing an unprecedented rise in figures, surpassing even those infected by the Delta variant. Now, Omicron has brought in both good and the bad news. The good news is that most of those infected by this strain stay asymptomatic or exhibit mild symptoms. But the bad news is that the new variant is breaching immunity acquired earlier either from natural infection or even vaccination. The metric being used currently to test waning immunity is an antibody test. Several studies yet to be peer-reviewed have shown a decline in antibodies after about 5 months of the second dose, thus causing breakthrough infections. However, antibodies produced by the memory B cells are not the only defense. The body also produces memory T cells, which kill infected cells and protect us against severe disease. Memory T cells become inactive in the absence of an infection. Therefore, is Omicron the beginning of the end to the COVID-19 pandemic? Will booster shots be the norm in 2022? There are a lot of ifs and buts, but epidemiologists agree that there is a healthy chance that Omicron may turn COVID-19 endemic, thereby removing the sting from the scorpion's tail. But for the sake of humanity, we need to keep up the COVID-19 precautions lest we repeat another tragedy of the year gone by.